hit this here now.
It's cool. It's already recording now. Shout outs to the intro. Welcome to Rich Talks, podcast where we do music commentary, cultural commentary, deep dives, and just interesting topics in general. I'm your host, Ankh, aka Ree. Now let's get into it. Alright guys, we have a very, very, very special guest with us today on a very special episode that we need to touch on. Today I'd like to welcome the CEO of Juice Entertainment, Tommy Dorfman.
Well, thanks a lot for having me on. And I like that hat. Let's go.
Thank you, sir.
Let's go Toronto, baby.
Thank you. Alright, welcome to the show, Tommy. So Tommy, basically, you're in this legal battle with Live Nation, of all people, like of all entities, I should say. How did you? Let's start with the beginning. How did you basically get into music, essentially?
So I got into music at a really young age. Around 15, 16 years old, I lived on my own on the street. So I rented houses, and to pay for those houses, I threw house parties.
Okay.
Before EDM music was cool, I threw house parties. I got little DJs, my friends DJ for free, then $100. We used to do hundreds and hundreds of people in my houses, pack them out. Crazy stories, crazy parties, and get house parties. If you ever been, you probably did some back in the day.
Of course, everybody.
You're running all of them, and you're underage. It usually brings trouble. So I bounced house to house. You name it, pretty much. Just paying the bills, packing it out with kind of a club in my house. Then I started bringing people to. I went into clubs all the time. I was always passionate about music as a kid. My dad. He passed away from me at a young age, but he brought me to like Michael Jackson concerts, Prince, shit back in the day. So I always loved the music,
Michael Jackson was like my first like real passion into music. Before I even got into hip hop, my first thing was like pop and like and R&B, like from a really young age. Before like Michael Jackson has a really big place in my heart, honestly.
Yeah, I went to a concert in, I remember it was in Philadelphia, and I remember it was like his drummer, a brother, one of them, Tito or something, was playing the piano in the lobby. Never forgot it, Amazing. My dad took me to concerts all the time when I was a kid. I went to every different type of music, across the board. So it got me into music, and then with the house parties going on, I wanted to move on to bigger things. And so I started running I was still doing the house parties, running guest lists in the city, New York City, at clubs, famous clubs like Tunnel, Limelight. I bring like 100, 200 people a night. They gave me like $1 a head, $2 a head, something like that, at the time. Then I wanted to, after getting in trouble with the house parties, packing enough of them out, I get tired of it.
Of course.
I was like, I'm gonna create a club empire. My family, friends, they all look at me like I was crazy and smoking some good stuff, But I was like, nah, I'm gonna do this, And then right at that time when I was just about to get ready for one clubs, I had tragedy hit my life. I was at a house party, not mine. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Somebody ran up from behind me, smashed my head with a gallon of vodka from 50 feet from behind.
What?
I got taken to the hospital. The doctors gave me a 1% chance of survival with it. They did brain surgery with a fractured skull, and right after that, I was left 80% blind at the time with a lot of difficulties. I lived on my own, so I went to a rehabilitation center, learn how to tie your shoes again, talk again.
Right.
About 4 months. The doctors told me, and the healthcare workers and all that, that I would be disabled for life and I'd be nobody. And that's it. Well, I wasn't taking that for an answer. So within 4 months, I walked out of the rehab.
That's amazing.
I started renting houses again. But then I didn't want to deal with all the headaches that come from the houses, and I wanted to build a club empire and prove everybody wrong. So I started promoting parties, and then I got my first party in 1997. Kokomo's, and you're not from the States, but Paramus, New Jersey.
Okay.
Jersey style. Let's go Jersey. I got a Wednesday night because back then, I don't know what it's up in Toronto, but back then nobody went out on a Wednesday. So
same thing.
I was begging club to club trying to get a night, and from a mafia owner that owned the club, I got a Wednesday night because nobody's gonna come to this stuff. So I worked really hard. My vision came back, a lot, So that stuff I never really talked about to this time because I always looked at it as a weakness. My assistant recently is like, yo, that's a strength, because through the whole club years, this like scar from my all that, I just said, yo, that's just a design. Nobody would ever know because I never wanted anybody to hold that on me.
Like that.
So no one knew. I was Tom McGee. That's what I became. So I packed out that first club. I did my first night. I promoted it for 6 months. I worked around the clock, 20 hours a day. I didn't even have money to pay for flyers, so I went into colleges and printed flyers out on their like college campus. I don't know if you call it stealing or call it they're giving.
Hey man, like I used to do that at the library, man. We all did it.
Yeah. Their libraries, I just printed all that shit out, passing it car to car, outside nightclubs, gyms, you name it, malls. I didn't stop. 20 hours a day. I packed that first club out with 1,000 people, and that started my success. Then people were like, damn, who's Tommy D? Who's this kid that packed out a Wednesday? Because my flyer was finally a Wednesday, because there never was a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I had no clue what I was doing, but just working my ass off.
That's amazing. Just like a trendsetter from back in the day, right? Like, so you've been working at it for years. How long have you been promoting, like in the promotion business?
Yeah, so I got into the promotion business I was probably like 1995, you know? And 97 was my first like successful first New Jersey party. And I always had like, even myself right there, Tupac was a big inspiration for me at that time, And he was always a big inspiration for me. And Pac helped me keep going, I guess, a little bit I can say. Like I said, I love music. I have all different music. But I was an EDM promoter, you know what I mean? And it wasn't EDM, it wasn't cool then. It was called house music.
Yeah. I'm still a fan of house music. I enjoy it.
Yeah, without a doubt. It was before it was mainstream. Back then, it was underground parties, that's how it worked. You want me to continue on with my career, or question?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Cool. So after that first party, everybody wanted to know, damn, Tom, who's this kid Tommy D? It's packing stuff out on a Wednesday night. So club owners calling me. I kept working my ass off. Not just me and my team.
Yeah.
I built a team.
Right.
First it was just me and one person. Then I built a team. A lot of people that worked real hard with me. Not just for me. I give them credit to myself. And we worked really hard, and we were 7 days a week. We packed out every single nightclub through New York, New Jersey. I became a director of a famous nightclub, Sound Factory in New York. We ran everything from the Jersey Shore DJ, Surf Club, Karma nightclub, from the Jersey Shore show. That they asked me to come in after the first year, MTV, because I was running Steve-O parties, MTV Jackass in Cancun, because that club was dead.
Yeah.
The first year you watch Karma, it's dead.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed because that ain't Jersey people. It was embarrassing. I thought it was corny.
Wow.
But became a youth industry. So I came in and took it. They gave me a great deal. Packed that out. I packed out pretty much every single nightclub. I opened my own nightclub. I won the best sound system in the world. I was featured in magazines, Club System magazines, all major club magazines. I booked every major celebrity. Snoop Dogg, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton. They were on my speed dials. Tommy Lee, Molly Crew was my boy. Picked up the phone, we hung out and partied. And they came down to my shore houses, and they partied and stayed at my shore houses down the Jersey Shore. It's a good time. If you haven't been there, I haven't been there either, but back in the day, it was fun. So I built up a huge club empire. I did parties in Miami, you name it. I hit my plateau. I became the biggest you can get. Tommy D Primetime, my company. I was the best I could get at, biggest. I wanted to move my career up. This was around 2011. House music was my career.
Yeah.
I did a lot of rap artists, you name them, but house music, EDM was my passion.
Right.
It wasn't EDM at the time. And I saw that house music was gonna turn mainstream. Because at this time, people were like, why did Live Nation get involved? Well, Live Nation didn't do house music, they did rock and roll. I was ahead of the game, they're way behind the 8 ball. I didn't even know who they were.
Yeah.
So made a contract with the State Fair Meadowlands. So being from Toronto, you guys, if you know the New York Jets and Giants, I'm a Jets fan, don't hate, but you know, at least we're loyal.
It's cool. I'm a Bills fan myself. I'm sorry.
So it was the new stadium. It was a $2 billion stadium that was just built, the Meadowlands Stadium. And I made a contract with the State Fair Meadowlands, the largest fair in the East Coast. 500,000 plus attendees every single year, 3 to 4 week period, over a 4 week period. Mass 150 plus rides, and I got the whole concert and event space to produce not just EDM, but that was my startup. Every single concert, every single event for 10-year exclusive deal, with them paying pretty much for everything. It was the best deal I ever landed in my life.
It's crazy.
Things were going great. Yeah, things were going great. EDM was my business. That was the start off, an EDM festival. Again, this hadn't broken mainstream. If you're familiar with like Electric Daisy Carnival, back in the day, this is kind of what I was doing on a bigger scale than them at the time.
Wow.
We had our talent lined up. We had our staging lined up. I had the right partners lined up. We had everything going, and then Live Nation Entertainment found out about it. I didn't even know who they were, and when they did, they wanted it. I didn't give it to them, and they wiped me out.
What?
With a click of a button.
So what do you mean they just wiped you out? Like didn't you have like contracts already, like with all of, like you said, you had all the deals set, you had the artists and everything. How did they just like come in and just sweep it from out under you?
Well, with Live Nation, a contract, you can have contracts with anything, it's worthless. They run the whole entire entertainment industry. It's pure power. Way more power, like I said, than the mafia. Pure power. I worked through the mob in New Jersey, and I kept continuing business. I fended them off. You can't fend off Live Nation. So Live Nation came in. They found out about my contract. The owner of the State Fair Meadowlands, Al Dorso, that told me, I think it was like February 18, 2011, coolest dude. He was putting my thing up, my events and festivals on 150 billboards, putting millions of dollars in advertisements for free on all this concert space that he just built and created for me to work. And he brought me in, you know what he told me? You're a grinder. You're a hustler. You work your ass off. That's why I want you. That's why I'm giving you this opportunity. So he had then called me up and said, you know, I remember this day, and he was like, boys, he was always nice guy. Boys, what the fuck you doing? To me and my partner, I'm like, what are you talking about? Live Nation's coming in. I'm sitting there first I'm thinking, who's Live Nation? And like, they do rock and roll. What the hell they got to do with me? They're blocking Tiesto. They're gonna block all your talent from the William Morris agency. That's exclusive agency. They're threatening me. They're bad-mashing me to the Sports Authority. That's his landlord, the Meadowlands. To the powers that be, and they want you out. They're saying you're thieves, you're robbers, you and your partners. And he went crazy. And then he said they're gonna block all your tickets from Ticketmaster. And I'm like, dude, you can't block my tickets from Ticketmaster. I've done business with them. So that's when I first found out about it. So I took a meeting with, would you like me to continue or any follow-ups?
Continue.
So I took a meeting then with Live Nation Entertainment. He asked me to meet with Live Nation Entertainment because he said they were threatening to block the whole entire festival, and they said they were not letting it happen unless I partner with them.
Your partner asked you to talk to them, or Metal?
The owner of the State Fair Meadowlands, Al Dorso.
Okay.
He told me Live Nation was blocking the whole entire festival unless I met with Live Nation and gave them a partnership deal in the festival of the contract I had, or they were wiping me out. So I met with Live Nation Entertainment in New York City. Which their CEO, Michael Rapino, says is their largest market in the United States, if not the world. I met with their president, Jason Miller, and John D'Esposito, known as John D. I went into Live Nation Studios, their main studios in New York. As soon as I walked in the door, I was trying to get them to get them off my back. I was like, maybe I'll let them do some rock and roll shows or something. Leave me alone, you know?
Like trying to negotiate something,
This Live Nation got to do with electronic dance music. I knew I saw it was going to go mainstream, but I didn't know anybody else realized it. When I walked in the door, I started telling them, yo, do a rock and roll show. They came in crazy. Yo, it's EDM. This is our stadium. This is our property. You either you either partner with us or you're fucking out. Tiesto, we're blocking them worldwide. I'm like, yo, my friend, my business partner, John DiMatteo, with Tiesto, it was like back in the day, like Don King. If you wanted Mike Tyson, you called Don King.
Right.
John DiMatteo, if you wanted Tiesto, you called DiMatteo.
Right.
He was on podcast interviews, not even podcasts back then. Interviews. He's going to New York, going to see DiMatteo. So we had everything lined up. They said they were blocking his dates worldwide if he performed from us. They said they called all the talent agencies and they would prevent all talent from performing us. They came in like wild animals. The John D'Esposito got like a pit bull. There's loopholes in your fucking contract. I'm gonna kick you the fuck out. You know what the loophole was? I needed to provide talent contracts.
What?
And they said they're blocking all the talent. So that was the loophole in my contract.
That's the
Then they came vicious. They attacked. They said they were attacking the sports authority. They were nailing us over the head. They were getting us out, no matter what. I tried to defend us. Then they told me that if I didn't kick my 2 partners out, I only had a handshake deal, just at the time. But one thing I learned from my dad as a kid, I never break my word. I could have kicked these 2 dudes out, John DiMatteo, Vito Bruno. I could have kicked them right out, but I never break my word. They said kick them out, so I guess they wanted half the festival. And we'll do 50% of the festival,
50%.
and we'll fund it. And we'll fund it. They'll pay all the money, and we'll let the festival go on, and we'll let all the talent proceed. I told them, hell's no, I don't break my word. So it was a shotgun marriage, basically a gun in my mouth. I didn't take it. They said, well, then we'll wipe you out. Then after I defended them more, they said, we'll block all your tickets from Ticketmaster. I was like, how are you going to block my tickets from Ticketmaster, dude? They said, we own them. I didn't believe him. I thought he was bullshit. When I got back in the car after the meeting, I Googled, and it was like Live Nation Ticketmaster, and they had just bought them through a merger, and I had no idea. And I was like, damn, we are in trouble.
That's crazy. So did you talk to your partners about it? Like, did you tell them what happened in the meeting, and like, what did they have to say about it?
Yeah, so when I talked to my business partners, then they had meetings with Live Nation, and I have all these meetings after that first one, but all the other ones are all tape recorded. So it's kind of like the John Gotti tapes back in the day with Sammy the Bull.
That's smart.
I don't see those real spinning.
Yeah.
If I tape recorded the first one, we probably wouldn't even be having this conversation because it was so bad. But I had no intent to do so. But my business partners, tape recorded meetings, even with Live Nation top executives confessing to this later. They were really worried. They met with Live Nation, and Live Nation told my partners that if there was an event of 10,000 people that they had to be involved. They said they were going crazy, vicious. They'll kick us out at any time, fry us out at any time. And they said they'll push a button at any single time, one button to cancel the festival. They did the same thing to the State Fair in Meadowlands, threatening the owner. As he told me, they were blocking all my talent, blocking all the ticketing, blocking Tiesto. They went to the Sports Authority the same way. They went to the talent agencies, which I allege and intend to prove at trial. I got the receipts, I'll prove it. And I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you with a $36 billion company. Probably it's $50 billion right now with Michael Rapino raising these ticket prices.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sitting on here unless I had the receipts. So at that point in time, they went to the talent agencies, badmouthed us. We had millions of dollars in offers. I know these day and age, people like millions of dollars. It don't mean nothing because the prices went up so high. At that time, I had offers out to artists that were like 3 times the amount anybody was ever paying. So it was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And all the agents were all excited. All the artists were just confirming flights. They were coming right in. Everything went radio silent right after that. Dead.
What?
And that was it. Destroyed, over, wiped out.
These guys are really just playing Monopoly with the industry. Like they don't want it's almost like when Microsoft first started and Bill Gates was like just buying up the little companies and eventually became as big as he is. It's almost like they really don't want competition.
Michael Rapino at that time, the CEO of the company, he came out and publicly said with electronic dance music, my scene, not his. He said, my fear is that lesser known organizations are going to lock up festival spaces for EDM. So we need to acquire or hire them. And that was me.
What?
And I refused to be acquired. I refused to be hired. I refused to take a payout. And I refused to screw over my partners. So I got wiped out. And that's why I've been battling them and they ruined my reputation. I allege they did. It destroyed my career. And that's why I've been battling them. Well, that was the start of the battle, but it's been a long time.
So did they offer your partners the same deal as well, or?
They couldn't offer my partners because I'm the one that had the contract with the Meadowlands. I had a handshake deal with my partners. I could have just kicked my partners out, took their money, had them fund the whole festival. They bought the Electric Daisy Carnival. Same type of stuff I was doing. Years later, for $50 million, for 50% of the festival, and guess where they put it on?
Live Nation.
Guess where they put it on? Right in the parking lot where I was putting it on at the Meadowlands Stadium.
No way.
What?
They just copy and pasted with a $50 million payout. I just refused to take money, and I refused to break my word and kick some people out, partners of mine that had no reason. There was no reason to kick them out. It was wrong.
Right.
Wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And I don't regret it to this day, even with what I've been through.
That's dope. That's standing on business. I really respect that. I respect that a lot.
That comes from my father teaching me at a young age. So I give him the credit, not me.
So 2011 is when all that started. When did you finally decide to like go after them in terms of like all of these shady business practices that they were coming at you with? Was it like after that meeting, or like how far after?
No, I kept fighting. I was trying every single way to put the concert on. I even put you remember Charlie Sheen?
Yeah.
Yeah, so back in 2011, like last year, Taylor Swift, I'm sure she's pretty popular in Canada, like up here last year at least, This was like, Charlie Sheen was like Taylor Swift in 2011.
Definitely was.
I did everything from the Kardashians, Snoop Dogg, Paris, I just pick up a phone call. And I did everything right by the fans, the artists, the agents. So people called me to give me the talent. Charlie Sheen's first club event, I got called for it. I had all these nice clubs I can put it in. All my talent was blocked. I'm trying every single way to still make my festival work. I have other shows too. I made a deal, I don't know if you're familiar with Aventura. It was the biggest Latin band in 2011 in the world.
Yeah.
Lanny, Mark, his manager, I had a deal with them doing a Latin festival that they were funding, that we were producing over 3 days as well. Never happened because the EDM festival got wiped out and I got wiped out. But anyways, I put Charlie Sheen on at a place in the swamps, right next to the Meadowlands. There was a swamp called Dragonfly. It was March or April. It was cold as hell still. So very small bar. You never put Charlie Sheen here.
Yeah.
I got the offer. I put them there. I paid tents, heaters. I put more money in tents and heaters than I paid Charlie Sheen.
Oh, wow.
Just because I was trying to attract the talent to show the Meadowlands Stadium is right there. You could throw a stone at it.
Wow.
And all these artists will perform for me anywhere in the world except at the Meadowlands. So I'm getting a Charlie Sheen in a swamp where we could throw a stone at the stadium. That's why I put him there. I was trying to stir up to get talent. And actually I made the deal with Aventura, underground, behind Live Nation. I had to go underground. I had to go underground booking. I never did that. I had to go down through the streets, old school, to try to go behind agents, behind everything, behind Live Nation. And, I didn't succeed. We didn't get the EDM festival. They wiped it out, as they promised. And then my career was destroyed. Live Nation, I allege, I'll prove it. They blacklisted me. I was nominated the #1 promoter in New Jersey by the largest paper in New Jersey at the time, New Jersey Star Ledger, with this thing called New Jersey Rocks, by the fans voting for it. My name was on this huge thing, #1 promoter.
Amazing.
My name got pulled off, got revoked, and I was told by the person because Live Nation didn't want me to have it there anymore after they wiped me out of my concert. teach someone a lesson. Don't step up and talk to them. I was blacklisted by everyone. Agents didn't pick up the phones. Clubs wouldn't work with me. My reputation was destroyed. I was destroyed. I ended up going from the top a few weeks before, a couple months before, drinking champagne, partying, with Snoop Dogg for my birthday party, to Ja Rule, Joel Santana, all showing up for free, performing for free for me. Because it's my stuff, my EDM part. Yeah, these guys want to come perform for me for free. My friends, I'm cool with them, and I went from that to losing everything, and ended up going homeless after this.
Oh,
What?
was it so? Was it because of mostly because of the legal bills that's drained you? Like, how did things just fall apart so quickly?
Yeah, legal bills, and then also just the amount of time you put into this festival. You're leaving this was the big step up.
Yeah.
Leaving the rest of your business on the side, and then you can't. I made money, but you know what? I spent a lot of money, and you're used to that lifestyle, and all of a sudden you're not getting. And I took care of a lot of people. Took care of a lot of people in my life, helped them out, put them through college. When I didn't go to college, but I put friends and families through college, and just kids from the club scene, and they wiped me out. I lost everything. I went homeless in my SL 500. I had a really nice car, AMG. I was homeless in that car. That's the only thing nice I had still at the time. But I wouldn't ask somebody a place to live because I had more pride, because it was too embarrassing that who I just was and what I got taken down to. I started off for nothing. I built myself to the top. They brought me below that.
So, like, where are you now in this in the legal fight with them? Because how long you said it's been, like 15 years at this point? Like, have they really been delaying for this long? Like, how can they legally delay for this many years without it going to...
Yeah, that's a great question. Unfortunately, I don't know how it works in Canada, but I wish the law was different in the United States. In the New Jersey federal court system, there's no statute of limitations on a civil lawsuit. So my case, my lawyers anticipated it would be 1 year. We actually were going to file for antitrust, just like the Department of Justice did. They told me it was a slam dunk case. But for money reasons and time, because they said it might take 3-4 years, we did tortious interference, which is pretty much the same as antitrust.
Right.
And they told me it'd be like within a year. Live Nation delayed. They've refused to turn over any discovery. Court ordered. Judge Mannion was one of the federal court magistrates, ordered them to turn over documents within 30 days. They never turned it over. But guess what? Look what they did to the United States Senate recently. The United States Senate has a subpoena out for their documents.
Yeah, I heard
I think
about
it's
this.
a year ago. I still don't even think it's turned over to this day.
What?
So they didn't turn over documents for me for years and years. We kept fighting, and I'm spending money. And I had to, just so you know, I lost my career. I had to go door to door selling cable to live, eat, to buy a hamburger, and then to fund my litigation. That's what I've done. And I was funding this litigation, doing so, fighting them. Exactly that, selling people's on doors and the rest talking to my lawyers on the back end and being, learning the back end of the law. So Live Nation just delayed. My lawyer finally went back to the court. His name was David at the time. And he basically said it's years later, like, we know we're like, the plaintiffs are outstaying their welcome, asking for this information. But Live Nation never appealed this. They have to turn it over. Like, this is ridiculous. They never turned it over. We only got 5% of our discovery that we were entitled to still to this day. We finally gave up because I ran out of money.
What?
Wow.
And we had to just continue the case with the 5%.
Right. Wow, this is deep. This is really deep. So how would you say, how's your mental health now at this point? Like, it's been 15 years of battling these guys, and you've gone through, like, homelessness to being rich to homelessness again. It's like, how's your mental health?
I'm good. I'm fired up, ready to go. Because at first it started off an economic issue for me. I was naive. I wanted my concert back. I thought I have their top executives confessing on tape to exactly what I'm telling you right now. And I thought they would literally, with the lawsuit filed, apologize, give me some money to get my feet, and give me my concert back because it's on tape recording. It was like the John Gotti tape. I thought they would just be like, shit, these guys, wow, we did this. Nah, they promoted these guys. The one was the VP of talent. They promoted him to the president. The other one, they made a documentary about him, John D'Esposito, and featured it live. You can look it up. Bamboozle Festival 2011. John D'Esposito, Live Nation presents the Bamboozle Festival. And they put a festival about how crazy and insane he was. And I was told by the other Live Nation executives that he was crazy, a fucking animal, grimy motherfucker, wiped me out of my contract, blocked my talent, and uncontrollable. But that's what they did, promote him. Because these people are nothing, they're just gangsters in suits. There's nothing more. They ain't smart people. So mental health wise, start to circle back to your question, that's how it started off. After years and years and years of fighting them, I've seen a lot of information. I've heard from some top, I'll say media people off the back end, won't say the names. They've told me that Live Nation's document retention period now is only 7 days. So by the time somebody sues them, the shit's deleted.
Wow.
So I have information that I allege shows that Live Nation runs a fraudulent criminal enterprise.
What?
That rips off the fans, ripped up off the independent promoters, rips off the artists, and mainly causes the ever increasing ticket price. So all the information I saw is so disgusting that I've continued this case now, not for myself. This is for the scene, the club scene they killed, for the artists that have to bow and kiss Michael Rapinoe's ring if they're CEO, if you want to perform. For the mainly for the fans. Artists I feel bad for, don't get me wrong. Some of them have to, barely make a living or take $100. People are like, why do they work when they sold out a show and made $100? Because it's better than $0. I don't blame them. They're trying to eat. They killed all the other independent promoters. They bought them all or wiped them out. But to me, it's really what the fans pay. I got kids. I got an 11-year-old, 6-year-old. It's expensive to go to concerts. It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
And the reason Rapinoe is saying right now, let's raise ticket prices. This guy's on trial. Not on trial, well, he is, really. The Department of Justice is pressing charges. The FTC's pressed charges against him. And he's out there so cocky, so arrogant, way more power than the mafia. So let's raise ticket prices. How's everybody in Canada feel about ticket prices getting raised up?
Man. So
and it excited going, let's go, let's raise ticket prices.
No,
but guess what? New York City, you remember like the mob, you remember like John Gotti, Teflon Don? He still would never be that arrogant to go out on public TV, facing trial, and say, let's raise ticket prices. It's pure power. Way more powerful than the mafia. Pure power. And it's just disgusting greed. And it's just something needs to be changed. So I'm continuing this fight so ticket prices can be lowered. I hope I can break up Live Nation's what I allege is their criminal enterprise, where I believe it's billions and billions of dollars, but written in a report by my expert, Dr. Richard Barnett, that backs up everything that I'm saying with their own internal documents of how they have 2 sets of books and they screw everybody over, rip everybody off, except Michael Rapinoe getting more yachts, more houses in their the investors in their boardroom.
That's insane. So
that's why I fight.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Like, it just shows your resilience, because like you said, when the doctors were telling you that you would be disabled and all that, like, just your sheer resilience in that, like, it just shows.
And that's something I've never talked about, just so you know, until maybe like a week ago. My whole time through the club years for 15 years, you know how many people knew I had a head injury? 0. After that, building my door-to-door cable business, you know how many people know I had a head injury? 0.
That's amazing.
Because I didn't want it to be used against me. My assistant recently told me, she's like, this is a strength, not a weakness.
It is.
Because I was reluctant to talk about it, but it's kind of hard for me at first because it's something I've always hid. So, yeah. Oh,
thank you for sharing it too. So what do you think is like the future for the independent promoter, or like what would you have to say to the up and coming promoter that's like on a similar path to what you did, and they're trying to find their way in without like having to mess with these major Live Nations and just like be taken down by them?
Yeah, great question. So right now, I tell him quit. I have an 11-year-old son, and he wants to run festivals, sees all my magazines with the clubs, all the celebrities, me sitting next to Paris Hilton, and he's all the awards to my trophies for number one sound. So I don't want to do this, Daddy. I was like, hell's no. Your ass is going to college. I was like, you can't do this with Live Nation involved. Yeah. You can't do it. So I'll tell all the independent promoters, quit. Don't do it. Unless you want to bow down to Live Nation, do what Live Nation tells you. It's way worse than the mafia. And you have no control what you do. I'll tell you give up, but I'll tell you not to quit. I'll tell you go to your government and fight. Go to your government, fight for regulation, fight for change, fight for the fans. That's what I'm doing right now. Get out there and fight. Well, most people aren't going to do so because you'll be wiped out like me. But I don't ask any independent. Listen, how many independent promoters like me come out and talk like this?
Nobody. Nobody does.
How many artists come out and talk?
Barely.
You just had Kid Rock come out. He's friends with Donald Trump and the administration. And he's calling out artists like Pearl Jam that battled Live Nation like in 1995 back in the day. They did. And then all their shit got blocked. And they weren't even merged with Ticketmaster then. He's calling them out. Yo, stand up and talk out for the artists. Psh, nobody talking. So nobody talks. And I don't, but people come to me and say, yo, you blame all the no people supporting you. Even all the independent organizations. They're supposed to be like independent promoter organizations. You know how many of them support me? 0.
Wow.
You know why? I talk to them on the back end. Tommy, we love you. We love what you're doing. But we still have to work with Live Nation, so we can't say it publicly. We got to come out and publicly and condemn some of the things you're saying because we're screwed. I'm like, I thought you were for the fans.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. They got so much power, so much control. So, you know, unless there's regulatory change, unless Live Nation, I called for it to be split. Not a breakup, just Live Nation and Ticketmaster. That's important because Ticketmaster is the enforcer. That's like Sammy the Ball coming in.
Absolutely.
They control it all. But I'm calling it to be split up to as many pieces as possible. And I'm hoping that my evidence that I have, that I intend to prove at trial, can get the company shut down. So I'm calling for a full shutdown of Live Nation, before which I didn't. And that's the only way that this scene will change, where clubs will thrive again, independent promoters can thrive again, and artist development can thrive again. How nice is it if they're an artist? You're in the music scene, right?
Yeah.
How nice is it for an artist if you can say, hey, right now there's just one promoter, one truck, Live Nation. There's no entertainment scene. It's called the Live Nation scene. Let's be real.
True.
But how nice it would be if you want to be able to go pick between 10 promoters who has the best cost, best production, and you know what? You pick a lower cost, better production. What's that equal? Lower ticket prices for the fans. Artist development. They've killed artist development. They killed the club scene. They killed the independent promoters because they buy them all or wipe them out. They killed the whole music scene. And then now what they do is just the stadium tours, rip everybody off through these, what I allege, illegal rebates, and just pass on that to the fans, ever increasing tickets where people have to choose to miss a car payment, miss an electricity bill, miss a rent payment, or bring your kids to a concert. And you know what? I don't blame the people for taking the kids to the concert, you know? My son, he's 6. He supports me. He saw an ad for SummerSlam wrestling at the Meadowlands, and he was like, Daddy, WWE, he says, it says Ticketmaster. That's the bad guy. We can't go there. I was like, yo, I'm not locking you out of society.
Yeah.
I never will. That's why we protest Live Nation. How are you going to protest them? And then you're locked out of society. I'll never do that at my kids, and I'll never ask anybody else to do so.
Okay.
So it only takes government action. And if the government cares, anybody's government cares about the fans, and cares about what they're paying, and getting ripped off, then they'll do something. But that's all. That's the only thing that can happen.
All right. Well, that was I loved everything you just said right there. Like that was amazing advice, and like everything you said, especially about the promoters, right? It's just that like it used to be when you had the independent promoter, at least you had the option where the best promoter got you to the club, so you didn't even have to have the best club. If you had the best promoter, then your club is going to be banging. But now it's like no matter what, they just have to work for Live Nation. It's just, it kind of sucks the competition out of things. So it's an interesting. But
yeah, there is no competition.
Exactly.
They took it all. It's just one company.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. And they don't realize that competition is what kind of grows the industry. Like competition does help grow the industry, because like you want to be better than your competitor, so then you start making your products better in some way, your competitor makes it better, and then everyone kind of benefits when there is competition. When there's just one overseeing everything, it's like,
it's just like a mafia. I don't know how we got in Toronto. We used to have big mafia in New Jersey, New York. It's like a mafia running a whole entire community. There's no competition.
Yeah, we have the mafia over in Montreal.
That got wiped out. You know, they're around, but just a few. But it's just bad economics. You know, at least with the mafia in New York, still there's 5 families. So at least they compete with each other. With Live Nation, there's only one Live Nation family, which I allege is the Live Nation criminal crime family run by Michael Rapino. So there's nobody else to compete with. And the artists and the independent promoters and the fans, they are all the victims.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing.
I'm one of the first victims of the Live Nation Ticketmaster merger. But I'm only one of the first. I'm nobody special. I'm just one of the first victims.
There's probably a lot more that don't speak up like you, and I'm glad that you're speaking up, because like people need to hear this. Like people need to be aware of like these shady practices, so then they can arm themselves with the proper weapons to handle it, right? If they wanna, if they need to know if they're gonna be part of that industry or not. So I actually applaud you for being one of the actual voices that are willing to be that face to show that, hey, we're fighting too. So I appreciate.
Yeah, well, look right now. Look how powerful it is. You got Kid Rock, who's got mad juice with the United States administration right now. He just came out publicly saying artists speak up against Live Nation, and there's no peep. Quiet. You know, so that shows the power.
Yeah. And do you think it's because he was more like closer to retirement, or more like on the outs of the industry now that he's able to speak up more? Or do you think it's just he feels it's the right time?
I don't know Kid Rock personally, so I can't speak for him, but I feel like what he's saying is the right thing. And I also feel like it looks like he's pretty close. He was in the Oval Office when some of these orders were getting passed, so it seems like he's close on that side. Maybe he's got some protection on that side, but I feel like Kid Rock's definitely doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Speaking out there. And I'm not even a Kid Rock music fan, so I'm sorry, Kid Rock. You're cool. You're good.
I like Sweet Home Alabama.
Listen, I love you. I like the music, but I'm just saying, I'm not a fan. But you know, I'm just saying you're not my favorite artist. But I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, you got some good songs, but I love what you're doing. I love your speaking out. And no other artists are.
It's true.
And the independent promoters, and I don't blame them, because what are they gonna do? You're gonna end up like me. And I don't ask any of them to end up me. You don't want to have to go door to door. You don't want to have to fight Live Nation for 15 years. Who's going to do that? I actually, not even who's going to do that. I would never ask anybody to do that.
It's amazing.
So I don't blame any of them.
Yeah. Well, all right. Yeah, we've been talking for a minute now. I didn't want to hold you too long. But yeah, thank you again for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it. And like this is a very, very important conversation that I think my audience definitely needed to hear, and I thank you for coming on. Any last words? Do you want to like promote anything? Like anything you want to shout out? Anybody before we close off?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I have a major hearing this Friday coming up October 17th, Newark, New Jersey Federal Court. Anybody listening in the States that wants to come and support, that wants lower ticket prices, I'm asking them to come out and support me. Live Nation is, after 15 years of litigation, is trying to block. I have 500 trial exhibits. Guess how many they have? 0. I have tons of witnesses. Guess how many they have? 0. They are trying to block 497 out of the 500 exhibits because they're scared for the public to see what it is. So I'm asking any fans and supporters to come out to New Jersey Federal Court this Friday, October 17th, and support me. And then my other advice would be to Live Nation and Michael Rapino, and to your fans out there, out in Canada. Let's go. Who wants ticket prices raised up? Go to the stadium. Get a chant going up. Be like, get a chant going, start a chant. That's how things start. Everything starts with something going on. You know what I mean? I said, tell Michael Rapino. Well, how do you think he would do if he came into your stadium in Toronto and got on the microphone and said, let's raise ticket prices up?
Oh, he would get booed out the stage.
Off the stage, that's what he just publicly said. So you know what? Let your voice be heard. Let Live Nation hear. Spread the word through social. Spread it to your government. Spread it to other governments. Spread it out there. It's ridiculous. And Michael Rapino and the Live Nation Board of Directors, you've ripped enough people off over all these years. You got enough houses. Get out of that luxury yacht. Get out of that rich house mansion. Get out here on the real streets, New Jersey or Toronto. Talk to the working class people that can't afford a ticket and see how they feel about you wanting to raise ticket prices up. I think your answer is going to be a pretty nice, blunt answer that I won't say on your show. But I think it speaks for itself. You can say it if you want. And if you go in the stadium and say, we're raising ticket prices up, let's go. I don't think it's going to be so good, Michael. You know what I mean? And that's your fans. And they're the ones that are suffering and they can't pay their bills. So you know what, Michael? And Live Nation, be the superhero. They should. You know what? I allege they run this whole criminal enterprise off the rebates. Cut it out. Stop doing it. Stop ripping the venues off. Stop ripping the indie promoters. Stop ripping the fans off. And you know what? Lower ticket prices. And you'll be the Superman hero. You could be like, you got Halloween coming up. You could be super fucking man. And everyone will love you. You basically, you became a born again. And everyone's going to forgive you for what you did. Because now people can afford to go to shows. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Like, all right. Beautiful advice. Amazing. Wonderful. Thank you again, Tommy, CEO of Juice Entertainment. Once again, that's October 17th at
New Jersey Federal Court, Newark, 50 Walnut Street.
Shake. All right, y'all. That's another episode. Salute to the outro. Peace. Thank you.